What's with the creepy deer in Leave the World Behind? Netflix's latest hit movie Leave the World Behind is defined by a disconcerting deluge of unsettling imagery, but nothing is quite as creepy as the deer that seem to stalk the main characters. Netflix's version makes some big changes to the book that Leave the World Behind is based on, but many of the most notable elements from the novel carry over to the film adaptation. The disturbing behavior of the deer is one such element that translates directly from page to screen. Throughout the course of the movie's terrifying events, the deer that approach the Scots property and the surrounding area change in both numbers and attitude. Starting with a doe and fawn innocently walking in the garden, the deer grow more numerous with each encounter the various characters have with them and begin behaving more suspiciously. This culminates with an intense standoff between a massive herd of bucks and Ruth Scott and Amanda Sanford, which acts as the climax of the movie's bubbling tension. Leave the World Behind's ambiguous ending left many questions unanswered, and the mystery surrounding the deer was one of the most vexing. What the deer symbolize in Leave the World Behind? The behavior of the deer was partially explained by a blink and you'll miss it news report heard over the radio in Clay's car. An environmental disaster in the South caused by the cyber attack had impacted animal migration patterns. While the nature of the disaster is left vague, it is also the explanation for the arrival of Floridian flamingos on Long Island. Apart from acting as another symptom of the cyber attack at the heart of Leave the World Behind, the deer act as a powerful symbol. The increasing number and hostility of the deer is a direct parallel to the fear and mistrust that infects each of the characters as the normalcy of the world around them slowly erodes. As the strange occurrences mount, the characters become more suspicious of each other, with Ruth specifically calling out her issues with the Sanfords. The closer the characters get to a true breaking point, the more deer there are in the woods, and the less innocent they appear. That comes to a head with the final standoff between Ruth, Amanda, and the massive herd of bucks, which coincides with the gunpoint confrontation between Danny, GH, and Clay. Why Amanda and Ruth's interaction with the deer was so significant. Director Sam Esmail told Netflix's Tudum that part of the reason that the deer played such a significant role was the nature of the animals themselves. Deer are peaceful creatures. To turn that sweet image into now this sort of ominous, menacing, almost warning, I thought was really interesting. There is a recognized normalcy to deer behavior in that they are calm, quiet, and typically skittish around humans. That peacefulness is exactly what makes their aggressive showdown with Amanda and Ruth in Leave the World Behind so jarring. A group of bucks not only show no fear, they even appear to be somewhat organized and certainly seem intent on harming Amanda and Ruth. Having that interaction juxtaposed against the gunpoint standoff at Danny's house is intentional in that it fully reveals the symbolism of the deer. The standoff between Amanda, Ruth, and the deer is a visceral reflection of the lines that are drawn in our own society, represented in the characters. The stubborn and blunt black Gen Z member Ruth Scott clashes with the strong-headed white Gen Zer Amanda Sanford, while the rich and tech-savvy GH literally stands barrel to barrel against a seemingly poorer working-class survivalist type in Danny. Amanda and Ruth scare off the deer together, ultimately showing that America can only save itself through unification. Until Americans can break down the walls of age, race, religion, and economic status that have been drawn, the fear will continue to grow. America will remain vulnerable to threats from within and without, leaving a real-world disaster like the one referenced in Leave the World Behind a distinct possibility.